Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of the Friends of Sim Racers Tour Racing League Mountain Dew Dash Series presented by the Fast Racing League, TDR Racing League, and Fuel Racing Leagues. As always, I am your host, Mr. Joe Towanski, and joining me tonight later on will be Tommy Bordeaux. He's run a little bit late getting up here into the booth. No problem whatsoever with that. We're going to get you set here before this race at Indianapolis starts. Indy is one of the most historic, greatest racetracks in the entire world, if not the greatest, the best. And tonight, our drivers will be tackling the tough, treacherous oval here at Indy. For all of us at JTN, thank you so much for tuning in. We're really excited to have you tonight, and we're going to get you on the path to racing as soon as possible. Drivers are currently finishing their opening practice. That way they can get adjusted to the setup. As always, this is a fixed setup series, so everyone's got the same car, everyone's got the same piece of equipment tonight, and that's what makes this series so much fun. You can see a lot of different names winning races and doing good. With all that being said, last week we saw Randall Coleman finally burst through the glass ceiling, winning the race at Rockingham. It was a big race for him and his number 9 Napa Chevy team. Him and all the guys at Revolution had a great week. Darren Ingram ended up finishing second there, I believe, if I do recall correctly. And you, as always, can view that race replay as well as all the other race replays right here on YouTube. We've rebranded the YouTube to the JoeTowNetwork, which is what JTN stands for. And we're really happy that you're joining us here this evening. Or if you're watching us on replay, we appreciate that as well. Whew! It's going to be a fun night tonight, guys. Indianapolis is going to present some really tricky challenges for these drivers. Turn 1 is a lot different than Turn 2, and Turn 3 is a lot different than Turn 4. Drivers getting called to their cars for happy hour. As always, a main point of focus here is that the weather is consistent. It's going to be 70 degrees, no wind, so that's not going to make anything different from one end of the track to the other. A lot of times at Indianapolis in real life, you have the issues of a crosswind blowing north to south or south to north across one end of the racetrack, so that can oftentimes cause handling difficulties at one end of the track over the other. Turns 1 and 3 are very similar. Turns 2 and 4 are very similar, but you're going to have to tackle those differently depending on where you are in relation to other drivers. It's a long qualifying session tonight with this 2.5 mile oval, so we'll get you set as soon as we have the qualifying results. Quick word from all of our sponsors. Autosim is the premier new NASCAR simulation game. You can check out Autosim in the description below. Autosim 6.2 has just been released. You can also check out videos right here on this channel showing you what Autosim is like. It's a fun game. It's more than a fun game. It's a really cool game. You can spend hours on it and not even realize how much time you've spent playing it. That is Autosim. You can check out the link in the description. There's download link on their website, Discord link as well. Also check out JoeTow Designs, bunch of Teespring t-shirts. You can go on there. Any sales that you use code JTN2, that's code JTN2, you get 10% off there. Hello to all our viewers joining us. See NASCAR Diecast tuning in this evening. Thank you so much for all your support. See your comments on our Autosim videos. Appreciate that. As always, appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure, if you got them, share the video. That goes a long way in helping us continue to grow our viewership. We're on the march to 200 subscribers right now, and we're making that march very steadily, but we're going to get there hopefully in the next couple weeks. We'll also have upgraded equipment in the next few weeks that'll hopefully make these broadcasts a little higher quality for you guys from a camera perspective and maybe a graphics perspective. But as always, the commentary is absolutely golden. Tonight I'll be joined by Mr. Tommy Bordeaux. He joins me most nights, as he does Saturday nights, where we'll be presenting you with the United States Online Racing League's Round of 8 opener at the Watkins Glen International Road Course. That'll be a fun race on Saturday night, 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join us then.
It
There,
sure will be a lot of fun. Let me tell you, anytime USORL goes to a road course, you never know who's going to win. And with a fantastic championship battle taking place there in the playoffs, it should be a pretty intense race to watch.
yeah, and as always, Tommy's doing a great job of sneaking his way up into the booth without me seeing him. Tommy, I know you had some problems over in your Knockos race tonight, and that's why you're able to join us a little bit earlier than what we expected. But tonight, these drivers are going to have a lot of challenges to face at Indianapolis.
Yeah, not only, Joe, are they going to have to face the challenge of the other drivers out on the track, but the track place can be with all those different corners. And of course, one thing I want to mention is tire wear too. I've won at this track before in the Dash Series, Joe, believe it or not, many moons ago. But one thing you got to keep in mind here is tires, especially if you mentioned the fixed setup in these cars. Usually, if you have a fixed setup in a car in sim racing, it's on the tighter side, so it's easier to drive. But a consequence of that, of course, is as your tires wear out, the car is just going to get tighter and tighter. So expect these drivers to be careful on the tires, like we saw last week at North Carolina Rockingham Speedway.
And we saw a great race last week at Rockingham, and there are a lot of ups and downs in that race because of the tire wear. You said tire wear is going to be really important tonight, and I'd like to also put a focus on this race. It's only 40 laps. These guys are only going to have to make one pit stop this evening.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, and it's going to depend on how much green flag running we get when they pit. Because if we get a lot of yellows, that could definitely shift things strategy-wise. But I think if we get one yellow or no yellows at all, you're going to see every pit stop be a four-tire stop.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of times we see in these Dash Series races, Tommy, guys take a chance on taking two tires, but from what it sounds like, you're thinking that's not going to be the case this evening.
I don't think so if we get long green flag runs, but I do think, Joe, if we get a green-white checkered finish or something of the sort where there's a very short run to the end of the race, I think it might be possible. This is no. We mentioned tires, Joe, about being important for success here. Track position might be even more important than that. You cannot have a good race here if you don't have track position. So I would say I wouldn't be surprised if we have a late race restart where somebody comes down and gets two tires.
But how likely do you think, we've seen these Dash races, they don't come down to those late race restarts. Do you think Indy, with the challenges that you kind of face as a driver here, that's going to give us a greater shot of getting one of those late race really exciting restarts at the end?
I feel like you wouldn't think it does, but of all the times I've raced at Indy, it feels like every time comes down to a late race restart. Seriously, no matter the series, no matter who you're driving with, it's something about it just always comes away with a close finish at the end with only a few lap sprint to the checkered flag. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it, although who knows what this night ahead of us is gonna hold.
Yeah, as we're watching John Peterson, this 8 Alsco Chevy, he's making one of his first starts. You see Robert Balkum getting the wall a little bit there, but one of his first starts in a while here in the Dash Series. What kind of challenges, too? Some of these guys, they might not be as familiar. We have some different people in this field this evening. When you don't know a guy, when you don't know a driver's their style or how they race you, how easy or how hard are you on that driver early on in a race?
Depends. I think for me, if I don't know somebody, I'm probably harder in them. And if I know them more, you get to know what their limits are as far as close racing. If it's someone like Davey, I know I can be close, I can be aggressive. But if it's someone I'm not as familiar with, I might give them a little bit more room. Especially not to mention, Joe, as far as esports are concerned, internet connections. You don't know where they're from necessarily. You don't know what kind of internet connection they have. So you want to avoid any warping or lag wrecks because of that.
Yeah. Before we get to this happy hour session, I'm assuming it's probably halfway through. Who is your Autosim driver spotlight for this evening, Tommy?
Well, Joe, that's a tough question because it seems like usually whoever is picked might be a little cursed here. Although I must say, this last Saturday night at Kansas Speedway, we got the pick right with Cal Lovell winning that race in dominating fashion. But I think I'm going to go ahead and pick, drumroll please, anyone at home. I'm going to pick Jeff Dixon in the second. Back there, starting ninth in the 36 car, he did have a fast qualifying time. He actually did win the provisional pole, but did not pass tech inspection, didn't get all those lugs tight in Q, so he's going to have to start from ninth here tonight. And we'll go through the starting lineup here in a bit. But I'm going to go with Jeff Dixon this second. He's a fast driver. He just needs to finish the race, really. He'll be there at the end to win this race.
And Jeff Dixon, our Autosim driver spotlight this evening. You can check out Autosim at the link in the description below. There's a link on their website, tells you all about the game. It's a great game. You can also check out videos right here on this YouTube channel. Autosim, a new frontier in NASCAR simulated racing. Well, it's probably the only frontier out there, except maybe doing mock seasons on NR, ain't it?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys do mock season on NR, but there's nothing quite as easy as using AutoSim for that. I'll tell you what, and unique too. Provides a really cool challenge that you don't quite get with simming a season in NR 2003, especially as far as the team upgrades portion of the game goes.
Yeah, and that game's constantly getting developed. New version of the game should be out within the next month, probably closer to this middle of September. So glad you're joining us. We're seeing people start to trickle in here, right here on JTN, the JoeTowNetwork. Don't be alarmed if you see some different YouTube branding. You can go to youtube.com/JoeTowNetwork. Now, to get right to our YouTube channel, you can also check us out on Facebook. That link is at the top of our video description. You can also check out one of our other sponsors, JoeTow Designs. Use code JTN2 there to show us some love that way. There's also a JTN shirt up on that Teespring store. So, Tommy, we're at this historical track. We're at, in my opinion, I've been here for an Indy 500. There's nothing like the Indy 500. This is the greatest motorsports complex in the entire world. And these guys and gal, we got Jessica Shelton in tonight's race. It seems like they're all really excited for the chance to maybe win here at Indianapolis.
Well, it's always a big deal. I mean, kissing the brakes, drinking the milk. That's the things you do when you get to win here at Indianapolis. And all these drivers want to be able to do that. Having done it myself, like I said, a couple seasons ago, was an awesome feeling. And I'm really excited for, who's going to add their name to that list of historic drivers who've won here at this track. Not saying I'm a historic driver yet, but certainly, if you win here, you're putting your name amongst a list of very good ones. Hilo Castroneves, Alex Zanardi, I think might have. No, he was in kart. Anyway, you get the gist. A lot of great names here at Indy. Certainly a historic track both for NASCAR and IndyCar, and even tonight here in the Fast Mountain Dew Dash Series.
Yeah, some great drivers here. Matt Watkins, who dominates most of the races we've put on. You're going to see him coming to pit road here from the top of the pagoda. Great camera angle we got there, as actually it doesn't look like he made it to pit road. As the field is getting set on the grid, Tommy, why don't you take us through our starting lineup?
Sure thing, Joe. Well, on the pole is the number 47 car of Andrew Miller with a time of 47.944. He was the only one in the 47s after Jeff Dixon's move to the rear of the field. Running out the front row is the 18 of Robert Balcom. In third place, Randall Coleman in the number 9 car, rolling off next to the 15 of Matt Watkins, last season's champion in the Dash Series. In row number 3, we have the 88 of Darren Ingram and the number 4 car of Cody Luke, after Cody Luke got another top 10 finish last week at Rockingham. Brian Wolf in the 29 and John Peterson in the 8 make up row number 4, with Jeff Dixon the second in the 36 car and Jessica Shelton rounding out the top 10. After that, we have one more row that includes the number 3 car of Bill Murnahan and the 27 of Tyler Stallhood rounding out the field. There's the command to start the engines. These cars are ready to roll here at Indianapolis.
And ready to roll we are as well here on JTN. Hearing reports from the 8 crew that Alsco Camaro has some real horses under the hood. Don't know what that means because I don't think you can fit a horse underneath the hood of a stock car, Tommy. But really looking forward to seeing some different guys and gals in the field tonight. We talked about John in the field, Jessica Shelton in that 7 car, Tyler Stallhood making another start here after a long absence from the sim, Darren Ingram. Jeff Dixon as well, our driver spotlight for tonight. Hasn't made a start in a while. You see Bill Murnahan in that 3 Bass Pro Shops Cabela Chevy making pace laps here. Beautiful paint scheme on that team. Hopefully they can make it closer to the end of the race than they have in recent weeks. I know they really want to get a good run here at Indy like all these drivers do.
Yeah, certainly. It'll be interesting to see, especially what Bill can do from the back. I mean, we've seen him struggle recently this season, not having the greatest start to the segment, of course, but that team can rebound. They've had some good finishes before. I think tonight, maybe the way this race can go for them is in a positive direction that can give them some more momentum heading forward. And also that 36 car, Jeff Dixon, like you mentioned, Joe, been a while since his last start in the Dash Series. Having to start midfield, certainly, but nothing that 36 team can't overcome.
Yeah, I'm thinking they can because Jeff is always fast. He's just got to make sure he limits the mistakes. You can't make a mistake. It's only a 40-lap race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So glad you're joining us here on JTN. I'm Joe Twansky. Alongside me, as it seems like always, but it pretty much is always now, Tommy Bordeaux. You can check out his website, TommyBordeaux.com, if you get the chance, and all of his beautiful sponsors, which he'll tell you about throughout the broadcast. Pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. Andrew Miller, Robert Baucom on the front row is going to lead them to the green. Again, so happy you're going to join us here on JTN tonight. And we wait, green flags in the air. We're underway racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Already, really close start for the 47 of Andrew Miller and the 18 of Robert Baucom. Those guys side by side as they head down into one. That bottom line there is definitely preferred here. Indianapolis, quite the one groove racetrack, although that 18 holding on the outside a little bit through one, but 47 easily going to take the lead through turn number 2.
Yeah, we already saw it. Matt Watkins was able to scoot into the third position. He started to the outside of Randall Coleman. Is running that outside, is that really just a matter of preference maybe? Some of these guys might like running that higher lane through the corner. They might be able to get up through the gears a little better.
I don't think anyone really wants to run the outside lane, but if you can make a pass anywhere at this track, you're going to take that opportunity. So sometimes it might have to be on the outside that you pass someone. Watch for a lot of moves here out of 4, coming down the front stretch here, getting a big draft and heading into 1. I think we're going to see that be an action zone for us tonight. Same thing on the back stretch too, out of turn 2.
Yeah, we're already seeing these guys. They're kind of single file. They're in a conga line right now. Everyone running their different corner exits and whatnot. Tommy, is that just these guys trying to feel out the cars, feel out each other, making sure that they're, everything's safe, everything feels good?
Well, it's a pretty common sight at Indianapolis, the way the racetrack runs, especially in these stock cars. I think as we go through the night, you might see it continue to be this way. But I think what you're going to see a lot of is drivers, like I mentioned, really wanting that good track position. You can see already that 47 and 18, they started first and second, and they're still first and second. Really no movement there between positions, so I think that's going to be the story of the night. So like I said, you might see some people take 2 tires if we get a late restart for that reason. Right now, that 47 car of Andrew Miller, by the way, pulling away from the field.
Could he be maybe using his tires up a little bit too much?
It's possible, but I think at this rate, you want to hold on to that lead as much as you can. Tire wear is going to be a factor, but you don't want to get caught out on old tires. But I think what's more important is that you keep that track position that you want. If you lose one spot at this track, you see him on a single file line behind him right there. Then you're going to lose at least 3 or 4. I mean, you're going to lose a lot of spots if you get out of the groove here. So I think that 47 car right now, most important thing for him is stay out in front. That's where you want to be.
Yeah, as we get these beautiful establishing shots of the cars coming through the corners. Again, thank you for joining us on JTN. We got single file line, Andrew Miller, Robert Baucom, Matt Watkins, Randall Coleman, Darren Ingram, your top 5, John Peterson running 6th. These drivers, though, they're doing such a great job. They're keeping pretty close to each other, but they're not running over each other, Tommy. How hard is that here at Indianapolis?
Well, it can be difficult because you can be really close to a driver, especially along the backstretch where you get that draft and that long straightaway. So there's a level of courtesy and respect that has to be given, especially entering a corner, to back off before your fellow driver in front of you. Make sure you don't rear end them going into the turn.
We've seen, in NASCAR, the Cup Series race here a few weeks ago, we saw, we talked about tire issues. We talked about it, but do you expect those explosive tire issues tonight?
I doubt it, Joe. I don't think I don't think so. I think Goodyear, the tire they brought here tonight for this Indianapolis race, they iterated on what they had a couple weeks ago, and I think they've improved. Perhaps tonight we're not going to see a replay of that, certainly.
I always I'm pulling from the bucket. We're going to pull all these threads tonight here on JTN. Andrew Miller continues to lead at Indianapolis. We're single filed out. Great green flag action here. If you want to join the Fast Racing League, check out the link in the description below to go to their SMS page where you can sign up to race with us. Currently racing Tuesday nights here in the Dash Series, televised, broadcasted live on JTN. And also Wednesday nights for the Cup Series, which is actually an open setup series. So if maybe you're a little newer or a little novice in the game, you might want to start here in the Dash Series. But if you're someone that is really itching for that competitive bug, Tommy, you definitely want to check out the Cup Series.
Yeah, the Cup Series has really been the Fast Racing League's premier series for a while now, and it's been one of the premier open setup online leagues in our 2003 in recent history. So definitely go check it out. I've been racing there since the 2014 season, end of 2014, beginning of 2015. So it's been a while, certainly, and I've had a lot of fun doing it for sure.
Yeah, Fast has just been the home for a lot of us. So happy to at least put. So happy. I use that a lot. So glad. I use that one a lot too. Um, just really grateful for the opportunities that Fast has afforded a lot of us sim racers, a lot of us younger sim racers at the time, Tommy. You know, we were both pretty young back then in 2014, and look at us now. Who would have thought?
Yeah, we were. I wasn't even. I didn't even have a driver's license at that point, Joe.
But again, uh, this is our way of showing love to the NR community. So if you got an NR league, feel free to contact us about broadcasting and what that would look like for your league um, as well. Working lap 7 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Andrew Miller's still leading. He's doing a great job just keeping that clean air on the nose of that 47 Chevy Camaro.
Yeah, it sure is. Looks like we got a little bit of a breakaway here with these top 6 going back to the 8 car of John Peterson. They're in a group that's about only a second back from the leader, so a tight-knit group, but as you can see, they're all spread out single file as well, so a bit of an oxymoron there, tight and spread out, but certainly these drivers have pulled away from the rest of the field, including, of course, our Autosim driver spotlight, Jeff Dixon. That's the huge crux of this track. Track position, like I said, very important, and right now that 36 car is suffering because of it.
Yeah, do you think that was a move that driver should have took? You talked about them failing the post race or post qualifying inspection, but um, if he had a really fast car, I have a feeling that maybe he wanted to start towards the back. You know,
Sometimes you might want to do that in case you think the race is going to be kind of hectic up front, and certainly this race has been anything but hectic, especially at the top of the field. But he might be saving it for later in the race. Certainly, anything can happen in these 50 laps of this event. If we get a yellow flag, don't be surprised if he might try a little strategy and try and get himself back up front. But for right now, I think that 3016, nothing too drastic going on. Just trying to keep their head down and work on these taking away these laps.
yeah, just saw Cody Luke making a move to the inside. And then after that 3-card pack, we have Brian Wolf, Tyler Stallhood, and Bill Murnahan running in this last little 3-card pack here. What do these guys got to do to try to at least make up some ground so that maybe they can get to that next pack and try to draft up to those leaders?
Yeah, stay in it. It's pretty lonely back there, I'm sure. But right now, the best thing they got to do is just keep racing. You never know what's going to happen. You could get a yellow that takes out the first half of the field. Considering there's 6 cars running kind of close to each other up there, you never know what's going to happen. Of course, a long way to go. They just got to keep their head down and keep their foot on the gas pedal.
As there you see Bill Murnahan in that 3 Cabela's Bass Pro Chevy. As we go back to our leaders, it looks like John Peterson's starting to lose this top 5 draft a little bit. We talked about Andrew Miller. He's got the track position. He's got the track position, Tommy. But we saw that he had the track position a couple months ago now at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He had the track position, but he wasn't able to hold on to win the race. I know we're 30 laps away. You know, we're over 30 laps away from the end of this thing, but what does he got to do to kind of keep that track position so he can be the one winner's circle?
Well, it's not going to be too difficult in Indianapolis compared to Charlotte. Charlotte, we saw Matt Watkins make a great move to the outside. Not so much here at Indianapolis. Like I said, that outside line isn't really here at Indianapolis. So as long as he's taking that preferred line, and he might want to back up the corner just a little bit, kind of make the car behind him slow down just a little bit, and then get that drive off the corner, and I think he'll be fine.
Now, when you say make that car behind him slow down a little bit, is that just him trying to make sure he doesn't get too far out there so that car behind can't get a hellacious run down the front straightaway? I used a curse word a little bit, maybe not, but bad boy. But is he maybe doing that so that way that 18 car can't get a huge run on the 47 going into either 1 or 3?
Well, it's all about breaking momentum, and you can see it at short tracks too. You want to back up that driver's corner so they don't have the momentum off to pass you. One thing you'll see at short tracks sometimes is people parking it on the apex, essentially. They're not physically stopping the car, but they might as well be. They're slowing it really, really far down in the apex. What that does, that causes the car behind them to, one, either dump them, or two, slow down enough to where they don't get that good drive off, especially if they're on old tires. you can really block a car like that. And we could see it here at Indianapolis, just the way this track is, so one groove friendly.
Yeah, and unlike I think we've seen like the traction compound, the PJ1, the sticky stuff, whatever you want to call it, in real life applied here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here in NR, there isn't really a great way to do that, or at least with this Indianapolis Motor Speedway track, there isn't. So that's really what's contributing to that one line thing. It's just that's where all the grip is right there on the bottom, and you might even see as these guys get tighter. A lot of times, what I do at least, and I picked this up few months ago in a truck series race here at Indy, but that white line it's really slick below that white line. So as the tires get older and the car starts to push off the corner, it starts to get tight. What you do is you kind of wrap your tires on that white line so that way you can get as much speed and get the car to turn as much through the center so you can really launch off the corners.
Yeah, Joe, that's a great point. Below that yellow line there, or sorry, excuse me, the white line down there is the same kind of banking that's on the corner, and you get the added bonus of some paint down there, which has a little slippier surface. We have a yellow flag out, Joe. Looks like we got a problem out on the racetrack.
Yeah, it looks like it involves Jeff Dixon and Brian Wolf. We'll have to get a replay of that, but unfortunate for our drivers there. We'll get you a replay.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good with Jeff Dixon involved. He, of course, our Autosim driver spotlight might have jinxed him again, unfortunately, here on a Tuesday night.
Oh, and Tommy, I think we might have. You're gonna see going down into turn 3. Jessica Shelton looking to the inside of the 36. It's gonna make contact with the left rear quarter panel, and that's gonna send the 36 up and into the wall. Heavy damage on the driver's side. He's gonna spin back down the track, and then boom! 29 car Brian Wolf makes heavy contact, flips that 36 over. Tough break for Jeff there. We're going to get you the Fluid Studios on board with the 29 car next.
Yeah, Joe, just watching it on the monitor right now. I was already a heavy hit to the rear of that 36 car, and that 29 of Brian Wolf just kind of ran right into him there, and unfortunate for Jeff Dixon. That's damage you can't recover from. That's too bad for that 36 team, Joe. I was really pulling for him. Thought they had a good car, certainly did in Q, but the track position not only hindered his race, but it looks like it's going to pretty much end it.
Yeah, that was a heavy hit for the 29 too. It seemed like Dixon might not have, I don't know if it was just, a lapse of judgment, but that car kind of came down the banking a little bit. Is that just, with the banking being weird hit here at Indy, or is that maybe him letting off the brake a little too early?
It's tough to say. You'd have to listen into what the spotters are saying. If the spotter was saying you're clear, then he might have been letting off it there. But yeah, that's always a dangerous kind of situation to be in, especially where he was on the racetrack too. If he's on a straightaway that's longer, like the front or back stretch, there's plenty of room for people to avoid him. But at that point, exiting turn 3 like that, not much room to go for drivers coming up on him.
Yeah, as you're going to see the cars on pit road here at Indy. Andrew Miller, he's got that beautiful first pit stall, but Indy is known for having a really narrow pit road.
Yeah, it's quite narrow. Looks like we had a pass for the lead on pit road. The 18 of Rob Balcom. Much better start than the 47. He's going to take the lead.
Yeah, he's going to do that. Now he's going to be followed by, I don't know if the Ingram and the 88 got past Miller, but right now it looks that way. So moved Aaron Ingram up from the 5th position all the way up to 2nd. Great pit stop by that 88 team.
And where track position is so important, so is your pit crew. Any spots you can gain on pit road, very important.
Now, Tommy, I hear you munching on some food over there. What did you get from JTN Catering?
They got some delicious manwich out here tonight.
Oh,
really
baby!
Food, but I'll tell you what, it's worth every bit of the price of admission here.
Well, that's some hearty Midwestern food here at Indianapolis, Indiana, or Speedway, Indiana, actually, but the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That hearty Midwestern food, Tommy. That's what you really miss out there in California.
I suppose so, Joe, but California's got In-N-Out burgers, so therefore, that's an automatic W for the best coast.
Yeah, but you got Culver's?
No, we don't, and I'll have to say Culver's looks really intriguing. Boy, that seems like a great combination. I had I forget what it was called. I had something when I was in Lincoln, Nebraska last year. That was delicious too. I can't remember the name of the joint, but man, I had a concrete from there, and a burger and some fries, and it was delicious. So, yeah, I think the whole custard, the concrete, that kind of frozen treat, thing going along with burgers. That's a delicious combination that really has no other replacement.
Well, and a lot of these drivers, it can be really hot driving one of these sim racing cars. They're going to be asking for one of those frozen treats after this race, no doubt.
Yeah, certainly, and I would too. But I'll tell you what, Joe. Um, Even though that dairy product they want is going to be cold and frozen, I think what you really want is the liquid form, being able to pour the milk on yourself after winning this race. A little bit of a switch up too. That 47 car, while he was leading the first portion of this race, after pit road, a slow stop there put him behind not just the 18 of Robert Balcom, but also the 88 of Darren Ingram. Ingram now up to second on the outside line with the 47 back in third.
Yeah, another guy that had a bad pit stop is that 15 of Matt Watkins. He was running third. He moves back to fifth. So Ingram jumps 3 guys on pit road. Great job again by that 88 team down there. He's going to get this outside positioning on this restart, and Darren is definitely one of the more aggressive drivers in all of NR.
Yeah, if someone could take the lead from the outside line, Darren would definitely be one of them. We'll have to see how this restart goes. If we can get a good enough launch and he didn't lose too much time to the 18, if they're side by side going through turn one, perhaps he could have a chance at him going out of turn two and onto the backstretch, especially with that high line momentum, if he can stick it there.
It'll be interesting to see. We're going to line up like this. Robert Balcom on the inside in that 18 Coors Light machine. Darren Ingram to his outside in the 88. Andrew Miller and Randall Coleman are going to restart on row 2. Row 3 is going to be the 15 of Matt Watkins and the 8 of John Peterson. Row 4, it looks like it's the 4 of Cody Luke and the 3 of Bill Murnahan, that Bass Pro Shops Cabela's machine. We see cars coming back on pit road. I thought we were going green there, Tommy, and they got me. Couldn't see the pace car lights from all the way on this side of the racetrack.
Yeah, it looks like Jeff put on up there. Turning the lights back on, certainly, and just going to put one more lap here at Indianapolis to pace, but should be back to the race pretty soon.
Well, it gives us a great opportunity as the pace car lights are off, so we will be going with green flag racing next time by the start-finish line. Got to stop making those rookie mistakes, Tommy. I got to stop it. I've been doing this not long enough, but I've been doing this for a decent amount of time. Got to stop making those rookie mistakes. But with that being said, a mistake that you will definitely not be making is checking out some of our sponsors, 2 of which, Autosim, which is the premier simulation frontier, NASCAR simulation frontier. You can check out their link in the description below. They are sponsor our driver spotlight, our Autosim driver spotlight. You can check out that. They got a Discord set up. You can download the game, find out more about the game. We also got videos on this channel detailing that game. You can also check out JoeTow Designs. Use code JTN2 for a 10% discount there. That also helps with our sponsorship. There's also a JTN shirt up on there, so if you really like what we're doing here, you can check that out. Yeah, Tommy, you can also check out our Facebook. We got this extra lap, so check out our Facebook. Give us a like over there. Give us a like and a subscribe on this video if you feel so inclined. Share it with your friends. Share it with your loved ones. Share it with your dog if you really want to. Or your cat. I guess if you got a cat, if you're a cat person, you can share it with your cat. But I don't know how much they'd really like that. But yeah, we're going to be reset here for a restart. About halfway through, these guys are going to be really looking at that fuel gauge because they're right on the edge of making it to the end.
Yeah, Joe, and with 50 laps in this race, I think they're definitely going to have to pit one more time, but it also opens the window to a little bit of strategy these guys can use here. Possibly taking 2 tires on that last caution.
Is the race 50 or 40?
I'm showing 50 on my
oh boy
program up here.
You gotta love it when our graphics team thinks it's a 40-lap race, because that's what the race director's saying. That's a 50-lap race. But with all that being said, we're gonna be going green flag racing here. Give you a little extra than what you paid for tonight. Green flag's back out. We're underway racing again at Indianapolis.
Yeah, it looks like the 18's already going to clear the 88 going down to 1 here. That's not really what Ingram wanted, but it's also going to give him the advantage of being able to slide behind the 18 and use that bottom line there. Ooh, looks like he got a little loose coming out of 2 there, and that 47 trying to make the move down to the inside. Not quite going to get there yet.
Yeah, how quickly does Andrew Miller in that 47 really want to try to get past this 9 car so he can try to go regain that lead?
Oh, as fast as possible, and you see him slide back behind that 9 car as the 15 tries to pass him. Joe, that's a problem because track position is crucial here, and already losing spots. Andrew Miller, just a few laps ago, was leading this thing. After a bad pit stop, he's going to wind up maybe outside of the top 5.
Yeah, as John Peterson now looking to his inside. He's going to make that pass for 5th, or at least get position for a second here. Makes the pass off turn 4, move John Peterson up into the top 5.
Yeah, not a good sequence of events here for Andrew Miller. Like we said, He won the pole for this race and led the beginning portion, but right now, sliding in the wrong direction, he's back in 6th place.
Yeah, it's a tough break for that 47 team. He's also probably feeling some new sensations, Tommy, running in all that draft.
Yeah, you're going to feel a little bit of that, especially down the backstretch here. And like we mentioned, you got to be careful about that. You don't bowl over the guy in front of you if they don't see you heading into turn 3 or turn 1. Right now, it looks like everyone's spreading out decently well, although the 15, right on the bumper of the 9, he's looking for 3rd place up there.
Yeah, it also
Looks
looks
like
like
Matt Watkins getting to the inside of the 9 there a little bit in turn number 4.
I thought we
Trying to
were
make a
gonna
move.
I thought we were gonna see these two Rev cars, the 88 and the 9, kind of work together to pass the 18. But then I always remember that the 18 is also part of Rev here in the Dash series.
Yeah, team alliances can definitely help here, especially on those long straightaways. Who you work with can matter. Who's ahead at the end of the straightaway. So, yeah, that could be a definite help towards the end of this thing. But right now, it's Robert Balcom leading the way and handily over the 88 of Darren Ingram.
Yeah, doing a great job here. It looks like that 88 of Darren Ingram, though, he's starting to pull a gap on 3rd place Randall Coleman, who's starting to fall back into the clutches of the 15 of Matt Watkins.
Yeah, he's fallen back just a little bit there. We've seen the 15. Oh, it gets a little bit of high out of turn number 3 there. The 15's been looking a few times, just peeking, seeing what's available underneath that number 9 car. You know, he's window shopping, seeing if he can get that 3rd place away. But it looks like the lead has a little bit of a battle here, Joe.
Yeah, Darren Ingram down the inside. He's going to have the preferred line going down into turn 1. Will Randall Coleman go with him? I would think he does, but Randall actually sticks in between those cars as Matt Watkins looks to his inside, gets really loose off the corner, slides up a little bit. That's going to move Randall Coleman to the outside, and Matt Watkins into 3rd position as Darren Ingram takes the lead.
A little bit of action there, and that 15 car nearly had a collision with the 18 on exiting the corner number 2. But that 88 car, Darren Ingram, taking the lead, and quite convincingly. That was incredible. I mean, you saw the 18 car pull away just a little bit after that restart, but that 88 car taking advantage of the draft and getting the lead. Boy, I'll tell you what, those 3 up front really close together here, Joe.
Yeah, those 3 up front really battling hard for every position. Every position matters so much here in the Fast Racing League's Dash Series. Darren Ingram taking that lower line down the straightaway, trying to take away the opportunity for the 18 to peek his nose out and make a move for the path, for the lead.
Yeah, still a long way to go, but if this thing goes green to the end, you want to stay up front, and certainly that 88 is going to hold on to that lead for dear life. We saw how important track position was, ending the race early for the 36 of Jeff Dixon after getting stuck back on the field after having to go to the rear after qualifying. So it can impact a lot of things, and you see that 47 of Andrew Miller, like we mentioned, won the pole for this race, was in the lead all the way back to 6, and he really hasn't gotten going again. His top 6 is certainly broken away from the rest of the field, but he's really not able to get anything going.
And Tommy, we're starting to see new viewers start to tune in. You talked Andrew Miller. He was leading that first stint of this race, and he's fallen back all the way to 6th. That's just because of dirty air, right?
Well, it's more track position here, Joe. I mean, that outside line is really not a line here at Indianapolis. So when you get stuck out there, like Andrew Miller kind of was, he had no momentum on the corners, and he just got passed. And once you get passed by one car, Joe, it's hard not to get passed by more. I'm surprised the 15 wasn't able to get around the 18 of Robert Balcom there a couple laps ago, because that 15 was sure close to getting that 2nd spot away, and they almost wrecked, but 18 held on to it just barely.
And Matt Watkins, he's usually a guy that can save his stuff a lot more than other drivers here. Is he maybe starting to think about, hey, maybe I should back off a little bit, maybe do a 2-tire stop at the end of this race?
Well, there's a couple things he could be doing right now. He could also be letting off a little bit to set himself up for a fast run here on a front stretch or a back stretch. If you back a little bit and you build up some momentum by drafting the car ahead, you can close that gap. And by the time you get to that car, you have enough speed relative to the other car that you can pull out and make a move to pass them on the inside. Well, we'll see what happens here. That's probably what the 88 car of Dan Ingram did a couple laps ago. That 15 car, he's looking low on the 18. I think at some point he's got to try something.
Yeah, and that pull-out method, it's something, though, you can't endorse, right? Because a lot of times that's what causes some incidents between, the car that's in front of you, because maybe he throws a block late, maybe making those moves so late in the, event of the pass. I don't know where you could go with that, Tommy. I'm so sorry, but these guys, they make these moves really late going down into a corner, and a lot of times we see the guy that's in front that's getting the move put on him. He makes a move late, and that ends up causing an incident here. And with these guys running single file, that's going to cause a lot of big backup and chain reaction.
Joe, all I'm going to say is you don't want to be involved in an accident. Right now, that 88 car and the 18 pulling away just a little bit from the 15. I don't think that 15 is getting the same kind of run he did. He might have worn his tires out just a little bit, trying to make some early moves off of that restart. But right now, 15 and 9 close together, while the 88 and 18 pull away just a little bit.
Yeah, but these top six, they continue to run
And
nose
check
to.
that out, Joe. Look at, like I mentioned, excuse me, that 15 car pulling up right to that 88's bumper into turn 3. That's kind of I thought would happen. We'll see if he can continue that as the 47 tries to make a move on the 8, which is a little further back.
As we look at that move, as Andrew Miller's trying to make it into fifth, he backs off as they go down to turn 1. Um, Tommy, if as the run goes on, it's getting harder and harder to try to make a pass for position, isn't it?
It's going to be really difficult. Basically, what you've got to hope for is that the guy in front of you has worn his tires out exponentially more than you have. But if your tires are worn and their tires are pretty much the same kind of wear on them, it's going to be so difficult because you can't make any moves stick. And if they're the one ahead, they're more often than not going to be able to keep that position.
And when they can't, if they can't keep that position, if if say the 18 of Robert Bauckham, he makes a pass on Darren Ingram, does Darren maybe start backing it off a little bit here, save his tires, maybe go into a different strategy? But we continue to see he takes a little lower line down the front straightaway to try to take away that opportunity for the 18 to pass.
I don't know. I think at this point, even though it's still just past halfway in this race, I don't know. If I'm Ingram, I want to be aggressive here. I want to hold on to that lead. I don't want to give it up because you saw what happened to the 47 of Andrew Miller. Now that he's not in the lead, he's back in 6th and has not been able to get back going. So I think that 88 car has got to stay out in front, Joe. I don't think you can save, especially like we mentioned, that was so hard to pass and worn tires anyway. He's in a good position right now if he can just hold it to the end.
You got to hold it to the end, though, because we're also going to have green flag pit stops most likely if this race continues to play out as a green flag event to the end. We talked about pit road at Indy being really, really narrow. We saw it a few weeks ago where one of Ryan Blaney's pit crew guys got hurt. Hopefully he's doing better at home recouping. But Indy pit road is really narrow, but it's also really hard to get down onto pit road under green flag conditions.
Yeah, it can be very treacherous. We've seen incidents happen entering pit road in multiple sim races here at Indianapolis. So it wouldn't shock me if we had some here tonight, especially with the way those 6 cars are all together. If they pit at the same time, Joe, things are going to get pretty crowded down there. We saw in the NASCAR Cup Series race a couple of weeks ago, things got very crowded under a competition yellow there.
Yeah, and why, competition yellows and all, yellow flag coming to pit road here at Indy is a lot different than green flag. But you're right. If these guys, all 6 of them, come down pit road at once, you also have to throw in the variable of, oh, does that guy in front of me slow down more than I do? Does the guy behind me go deeper down into pit road than I do? What would you be doing behind the wheel to make sure that you're not, either you're coming down pit road by yourself or you're coming down with a limited number of people to kind of keep that draft?
Yeah, Joe, a couple things. If I can go down by myself, that would be okay. But preferably, if I'm like the leader or I'm at the back of this pack, if I'm Darren Ingram or I'm Andrew Miller, that's kind of where I want to be in this situation. I don't really want to be in the middle of all these guys. It's kind of like pitting at a super speedway, Joe. I want to be up front because I feel like I know I'm not going to run into the back of anyone who slows down sooner than me, and it's really on the responsibility of the cars behind me to not hit me. And also, I can shove it into pit road as fast as I can, and what I've practiced with. So I don't have to wait for anybody else and possibly lose time that way. If I'm at the back of a pack, then that's going to allow me the opportunity to see what's ahead of me, maybe back off a little bit going in. And while I might not be the fastest, it's also going to be safe because I probably won't get caught up in an incident. I say probably, there's no guarantees in racing, but it's a more likely situation that you won't have any incidents if you're far away from the field in the back.
Yeah, as we saw Matt Watkins, he peeked his nose to the inside of Robert Bauckham. We've also seen that 18 get some really great runs down the long straightaways, the front and the back stretch. But Tommy, Crimson Cards 2022 writes in, Indy needs progressive banking. Thoughts? What are your thoughts about that, Tommy?
Well, it's an interesting question. Thank you for the question, Crimson Cards. I really appreciate that. We really appreciate that here at JTN. Um, let's play the what if, I guess. If we had progressive banking at Indy, I don't know. It's hard to say because you gotta factor in not only are we racing stock cars here, but how are the Indy cars going to react to it too? The Indy cars at Kansas, I believe they haven't gone there in a while, but tracks like that, I feel like used to. I remember seeing pictures of 3, 4 wide finishes there where people are down in the apron. And Kansas being a progressively banked track, uh, apparently put on some good shows. So It's possible, but it's hard to say, especially with how Indy is shaped to begin with. Just the shape of the track and the way the corners are. I don't know if it's going to really be much of an advantage to the outside, especially the way people wash up out of the corners on the inside. It could cause some wrecks if you have cars side by side up there. Um, but it's a really good thought, and I think possibly with the capabilities that NR 2003 has for track designing, maybe one day someone can make that.
And I think it would be really interesting too, because you also have to think about the history that Indianapolis has. If you were in theory to do that, add progressive banking here at Indy, you'd really, it wouldn't be Indy anymore, right, Tommy? It wouldn't, Indy is really known for these, not a lot of banking. The challenge of having a one groove racetrack and really having to set up passes down straightaways where a lot of other tracks you do most of your passing in the corners, or at least you used to. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thought experiment, and like Tommy said, we appreciate all your questions here at JTN. Um, if you got more of them, I see Mikey Murata posted one, but I'm not going to answer that one. Um, but yeah, if you got any more questions, feel free to ask them. We're always here. We always like to have fun with the viewers at home, and that's the best way to do it is post in our chat, live chat. Or if you're watching the replay, feel free to post comments down there too. We appreciate all the interactions with you guys, and it does mean a lot to us here at JTN.
Well, Joe, speaking of Indy hypotheticals, one that we actually got to saw play out in real life was the Xfinity Series race from the Indianapolis Roval. And I would say that's a huge success. Of course, Chase Briscoe winning, of course, I know you liked that a lot. And
Oh yeah.
the finish was fantastic. I thought it was a brilliant finish and a good race, too. I only caught the last 12 laps or so. But I must say it was quite exciting, and I think we have pit stops starting just now at 15 of Matt Watkins headed down to pit road.
Yeah, got really aggressive coming onto pit road. He's going to be the first one to make a pit stop here towards the end of this race. And again, this race is 50 laps. I know it says 40 on your screen. I'd like to apologize for that. Our graphics team, aka me, might have made a mistake there with trusting. Oh, we got a crash! The 18 of Robert Balkum around.
Yeah, pace car lights are on. We're going to have a yellow flag here. Boy, that's really interesting. That 15 car, Matt Watkins, lucked out there. That's going to be a huge advantage.
Yeah, John Peterson looks like he's smoking. He was involved. All of our leaders, it looks like Randall Coleman probably got through it okay. He's still chugging along. He's probably going to lead this lap here as he's coming back to the yellow flag. But this changes everything, Tommy.
Well, it does. That 15 car might as well be telepathic to see that yellow coming. I mean, a fantastic opportunity for him to take the lead. He's not going to have to pit under this yellow, which means he's going to inherit the lead automatically because he just went through service now. And of course, for that 15 team, like we've mentioned all night, that track position going to be huge for him.
Yeah, and another guy that I think that was on pit road was the 29 of Brian Wolf. I'll have to check on that. As you're going to see a replay here, Robert Balkum behind Darren Ingram. Robert gets to the inside. Darren, I don't know if he threw a block or if the internet got warpy on him, but he hits the wall. Hard for the 18. So we'll see what the secondary between the 88 and 8 is.
Wow, just saw that wreck there on the monitor. Yeah, it looks like a lot of aggressive driving out of 2, and then a little bit of warpy poo going on over there. Pretty familiar sight there, New Hampshire possibly.
Yeah, that's got to be a tough break for both those guys running really great here. Darren retiring. I'm assuming Robert's going to continue on here at Indy. But
yeah, not only did Darren retire, but after that horrific crash with the 8 car, John Peterson, cars were flying into the catch fence. Boy, that was a terrible crash, I must say. Both those cars retiring after this event.
yeah, so as we reset here, Randall Coleman's going to lead everyone down pit road. Andrew Miller behind him. Matt Watkins is going to take your lead because he was down on pit road as the caution came out. So that really worked. Gave him the track position here for the end of the race. That changes everything, Tommy. I am blown away right now.
Yeah, it does, and this is going to set up an interesting situation as far as strategy goes. I don't think you can take 2 tires yet because there's just too much time left. We had a long enough run. There's no way we can do that. But I think with a 15 car going to the lead like that, boy, that's going to change the complexion of this race. We hadn't seen him out front all night long. So now we'll have to see what he does in the lead of this race.
Because Randall Coleman's going to win the race off of pit road. Andrew Miller is going to wind up third. Jessica Shelton fourth in that pink and green number 7 car. Tough break for Darren Ingram and John Peterson, 88 and 8 cars. See them joining in our chat. Welcome to the chat. Sorry you're there, though, during the race. Would rather have you guys watching the replay, of course. Tough break for both of those drivers here at Indianapolis. We'll reset you here after this. A quick word from all of our sponsors. Autosim is the new frontier in sim racing. Check out Autosim. Link to their website in the description below. I lost my train of thought there. It wanders on its own sometimes, it seems like. You can check out their link in our description below. You can download Autosim. You can also check out their Discord to find out more. You can also look at some videos on our channel that do with Autosim. Appreciate if you do. Check out our videos as well as going and downloading Autosim. Autosim, the premier simulated NASCAR experience and a new frontier in simulated racing. You can also check out JoeTow Designs. Use code JTN2, 10% off there at JoeTow Designs. A bunch of great designs for you to check out and a bunch of variety of products for a lot of your racing needs there. That is JoeTow Designs using code JTN2 for 10% off. Tommy, we're reset here. Matt Watkins has got the lead. Randall Coleman's going to be to his outside. They're flip-flopped from the way they were on the initial start of this race.
Yeah, and after being involved in that incident, that 18 car going to be back quite a bit. It'll be interesting to see if he can make his way back up to the front. It's going to be difficult, like we've seen all night long, coming from that back to the front. No one's really done it yet at all. So certainly interesting opportunity for that 18 car to see if he can get back up there. Of course, probably endured some damage during that event, that wreck here. But boy, with the 15 and 9 up front, this race is completely flipped on its head.
Well, I would hope that 18 had at least a little bit of damage because, boy, howdy, that was a big old collision there for Robert Balkum in that 18. Great to see that he's okay still driving that, although I'm assuming the Coconut might not be doing so well, and that driver got violently ripped around. But, again, it's a sim race, so, have fun as you may. But, Tommy, what does Randall got to do on this upcoming restart to try to snag this lead away from the 15? Because we've seen that track position just mean so much.
We've seen it mean a lot, but we did see that 88 of Darren Ingram be able to take the lead even though he started on the outside line. It took him a couple laps to then work to the inside of the 18 car, but he did eventually take it. So he's got to be calm. What the 88 did on that restart was actually slide in right behind the leader. So possibly an opportunity there for that 9 car to do that if the restart plays out like that. Of course, if he gets a really good start, then maybe he can try passing on the outside, but it's going to be very difficult and treacherous on that outside line, especially on cold tires.
Yeah, and we talked about Andrew Miller. He led a lot of laps early on in this race in that 47 machine. What does he have to do to grab the lead here?
Well, he's got an opportunity to look to the inside of the 15 sooner than the 9 car does. Certainly, if that 47 gets a good restart, though he didn't really last time around. So we'll have to see how that 47 jumps on the green flag here. If he can get a good one, then he might have an opportunity to pass the 9 car and set himself up as that car in second place.
As if we have some new viewers tuning in, I'd like to mention that lap counter at the top of your screen, it's off by 10 laps. It's a 50-lap race because it's 125 miles. Again, our graphics team screwed up a little bit at me, but so glad you're joining us as always. If you're watching the replay of this the day after, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching it live, hit that like button. Smash the like button, actually. Hit subscribe. Join us here on the JoeTowNetwork, JTN. Go to our Facebook, like us over there. You'll get posts every day we go live. We'll be live next Saturday for the United States Online Racing League's race at Watkins Glen, Tommy. I know you got a lot to say about that race, and it'll be an exciting one.
Yeah, it should be pretty good, Joe. I love road courses, and I wish I could be out there with those guys. I was actually able to race with them last night at the USRL Lights Series, and well, unfortunately had an engine blow from the lead, which is actually quite reminiscent of what happened tonight at Knockos as well. 2 nights in a row, the PTR engine's failing on me, which is actually quite unusual. But yeah, it should be a good race. Kyle Lovell won that one on Monday night. See some great strategy there, and of course a little bit of luck, certainly with some drivers experiencing some issues. So should be a pretty entertaining race. We're going to have Davey Hazard there, of course, in that 75 car. Always good at road courses. We've seen him many times here on JTN. So it should be a pretty fun one. I got to say, with road courses, it can really be a crazy finish with cars finishing in places you wouldn't normally expect them to. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out, and it might be a really big impact on the chase picture as we head into that last championship race at Homestead, Miami in a few weeks.
Yeah, real quick, Ryan Pace says, just tuning in, I'm cheering for the fans here on the final restart. Tommy, do you want to tell him why he's wrong?
No, I don't think he's wrong. Well, I'll tell you why he was wrong. There's no fans at this track due to the pandemic. But of course, all the fans at home, I hope you win. That's who I want to win in the final restart, which looks like we are coming to the restart zone. 15 of Matt Watkins now leads the way. And green flag is back out here at Indianapolis.
Well, I'll tell you why Ryan's wrong, because we are giving our fans 10 extra laps tonight. It's a 50-lap race here for these drivers. It's going to get really exciting here as we're coming down to 10 to go here at Indianapolis. Andrew Miller's the inside of Randall Coleman for second place.
Yeah, that 47 car got a good restart that time. That allowed him to stay with that number 9 car and take that second spot. If he can clear him off of 2, and he does, he should be able to hang on to that spot. Although he's going to have to watch out a little bit. That 9 car looks like he's peeking down to make a move into 3.
Oh, and Randall does. He looks to the inside as they go through 3 side by side. That's his teammate behind him, Jessica Shelton. Didn't give him the push that he needed, but Jessica now looks to the inside of Andrew Miller for third. Move Randall Coleman up to second position.
Well, that 47 car's had a rough go of it on restart. He's lost a lot of spots. Even though he led the beginning part of this race, he has not been a factor up front since then. That 7 car, Jessica Shelton, haven't really talked about her all night. She's now in 3rd place, and that 18 car, Earl Balcom, up to 5th.
Yeah, we saw this 7 of Jessica Shelton, though. She really fell behind these other drivers throughout the night. Was that just because those 6 in front of her? She was always that 7th, 8th place car. You know, that 7th place, the 7 number. But so that 7th, 8th place car, was that just because those top 6 at that time were just doing so great of running with each other?
They were doing a good job, and also, like we mentioned, track position being important. If you lose the draft just a little bit too, it's going to be hard to get that time back. That 7 car, not shying away from that second spot, trying to race Randall Coleman really hard there for second place. Almost got the move done, but looks like she might be on the back foot here going down the straightaway. That 47 car moving around a lot, trying to look for a way by, but that 7 car hanging tough.
As we continue to watch here, Tommy, how many laps do we got to go?
Well, Joe, right now it would be the TWB 10 to go. Folks at home, TWB is a company that you've been waiting for. Delivering products and services from a brand you can trust for many years now. TWB.com is coming this fall. Also check out our associate, TommyBordeaux.com. For more information, visit TommyBordeaux.com and check out our About page, as well as viewing our partners such as Interstellar Communications, a leading IT provider on the Central Coast for broadcast engineering. Well, Joe, that's your TWB 10 to go here in Indianapolis, and as we race with 10 to go, things are really heating up front. We saw a lot of cars being okay with being single file earlier in the race, but that 47 car moving around a lot, wants to get by that 7, as the 9 and the 15 up front really close together.
Yeah, the 9 and the 15 are really close. It's going to be interesting to see if Randall can make the move. We saw earlier in the race when Matt was able to get in front of Randall, Randall couldn't pass him. When Randall was able to get in front of Matt, Matt couldn't pass him. As now it looks like Andrew Miller making a move for third, and he dips back in line.
Yeah, he's really trying to make that move on Jessica Shelton out of 2. He's done it a couple times now where he's tried to look for it, but he just loses that momentum because he has no draft help. He's probably going to have to back up the corner a little bit, build up that momentum with a long stretch of draft in front of him, and try and make it closer to the entrance of the corner, possibly in 1. Looks like the 7 going to go down low to try and block that run. That 47 car is going to have to make the move on the outside, but might clear going into 1, and he does.
I wonder if Jessica was maybe letting him by, knowing that 47 was being really aggressive going into the corners, because that was a really weird move to be pulling low down the straightaway that early on.
Yeah, might be, Joe, as we head into just the final 8 laps of this race. Things are heating up, and every spot's going to matter. So that 7 car on the wrong foot there, 18 looks like he's going to get around her as well.
Yeah, that's a puzzling move for Jessica in that 7 car. But we go back to our top 3. Andrew Miller now closing the gap in on Randall Coleman, who's trying to make the pass on Matt Watkins. With Andrew getting there to the back bumper of Randall, is that going to give Randall more help?
Well, it's going to be something, Joe. That 9 car looks like he's awfully patient. I haven't really seen him make too many moves. I think what Randall's doing is waiting till the opportune moment because if he doesn't make a move correctly, that 47 car is going to have momentum on him and be able to pass. So I think that 9 car just waiting for the right timing to try and take the lead here. But boy, that 47 car right on the tail of this top 2 right now.
Yeah, the top 2 have been really battling, but Andrew Miller coming into the picture in 3rd. And don't look now, that 18 Robert Baucom, he might, if these 3 have a problem, he could definitely scoot into the lead as we come down to the end of this race.
I got to say, Joe, that 47 car of Andrew Miller, we talked about it earlier in the race, leading a lot of laps, and then after that initial caution, had a bad restart and a bad pit stop that caused him to lose a lot of spots, running around in 6th for a good majority of this race. Now back up to 3rd after another yellow, and actually fell back a little bit on the restart this time. Looks pretty okay right now, Joe. It looks like that 47 car might actually have a shot at this thing after all.
Yeah, well, he's definitely got a shot if Randall continues to get that close to the bumper of the 15 through the center of the corner. That time, Randall had to get off the gas, and it's going to allow the 15 to scoot away by a car length.
That's going to be dicey, Joe. He might not have the same kind of momentum exiting 2. That 47 car, I bet he's going to be licking his chops here soon enough. That 47 car has been aggressive, has made a couple moves to try and get himself back up front. I know he wants it, especially after leading early. He's just got to time it right and make sure he can get that move done. Because if he doesn't, that 18 car is ready to pick up those positions that he might just give away. That 9 car sliding up just a little bit, Joe.
Yeah, Andrew really close off the corner. He was looking to the inside. That's going to slow those 2 down, let Matt Watkins scoot ahead a little bit, but keep Randall Coleman in the 2nd position, Andrew Miller 3rd, and don't look now again. There comes the 18 and the 7 cars.
Yeah, these top 5 are definitely pulled away, but that 18 and 7, I didn't know if they would actually be up with these top 3, but certainly these top 3 racing each other has allowed them that opportunity. The 47 is going to be trying again now in turn 2. Again, Joe, that 9 car holds it on the outside line. Very impressive by Randall Coleman. Where that 47 car is trying now, but he might be on the back foot. He's going to lose another spot here to the 18 if he's not careful.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're definitely going to have to try to make a pass into either 1 or 2 or 3, because if you can't make the pass through one of those 2 corners, you're not going to be able to keep up the momentum down these long straightaways. Andrew Miller is going to lose 2 positions here. It looks like Jessica Shelton's going to have a run on the outside, and Matt Watkins got really loose off that corner.
Boy, that was incredible. He almost hit the entrance to pit road.
Big time save for the 15, but moving back to 2nd place, Randall Coleman, your new leader.
Randall able to get that done. Incredible. That 9 car, like I said, Joe, waiting for the right time. Well, no better time than when your opponent makes a mistake or gets loose off a corner. That 9 car now in control of this race and looking awfully good, but don't look now. That 18 car up to 3rd place again.
Well, at 18, he's just looking for these guys to make a mistake. I wonder if the 9 and Randall Coleman just getting that close to the back bumper might have either, I don't think he made contact, but he might have took some air off the spoiler of the 15, making him really loose off the corner, but we're seeing this 9 get really tight. And that's going to allow the 15 to the inside.
That 15 is going to try for the lead. Back on Randall Coleman, side by side as they exit the corner. That's not going to be good for momentum, Joe. That 18 car is going to have a shot. 3 wide down the front stretch, almost.
Almost, as they drag race down the front straightaway. Matt Watkins is going to have the position going down into turn 1.
This is going to be bad for Coleman on the outside line. He won last week at Rockingham. A lot of good momentum for that 9 car. He wants to win here again, but of course a points finish, a good point stay would be important for that 19. We'll have to see what they do, but everybody wants to win in Indianapolis. Boy, this race is really heated up, Joe, and there's only 3 laps to go.
Yeah, it's getting really crazy. We saw Jessica Shelton tear down the wall last time through 3 and 4 here. Got really tight off of turn 3. Randall Coleman continues to look to the inside, and Matt Watkins getting really close to that back bumper, trying to make a move for the lead.
It's so close, Joe. I don't know if they get together, that 18 to that 47, even the 7 car might have a shot at this thing, Joe. They're getting really close now. Just 2 laps to go, and they are moving around in the front stretch.
You gotta break the draft. We see it so often here at Indianapolis, whether it be IndyCar or NASCAR. You gotta break the draft down these long straightaways because you don't want to give the guy behind you momentum. Randall looks like he might hit the apron a little there. Gets loose off of turn 1. Matt Watkins scoots again out to about a 2-car length lead, but this 9 car is going to close it down the back straightaway.
You really can't afford to make any mistakes at this point in the race. You gotta be perfect. That 15 car made a mistake, but got away with it, and now is back in the lead. Randall Coleman's got to be perfect right here if he wants another shot at this, Joe. Coming around turn number 3, going into turn 4, these drivers are going to start to see the white flag this time by. It's going to be a drag race to the finish, Joe. It's going to be close.
Oh, it's going to be really close here. Randall again looking to the outside, trying to get the momentum down the front straightaway, see if he can dip to the inside. Oh, he looks, he gets back behind the 15. Matt Watkins taking a really conservative line down into the corner to try to block the momentum of the 9, and Andrew Miller moving up into 3rd position.
Check out that 47 car, Joe. Back up to third place after falling back to fifth. Pretty impressive. It is the white flag. We got one more lap to go here at Indianapolis. That 15 holding on. Randall Coleman trying to set himself up for one final move here at the Brickyard.
I think he's going to have to hope that this 15 makes a mistake or he can get to the back bumper. And knowing Randall, he's not going to use the chrome horn in the front of that 9. Gets a really great run through turn 3. Closes the gap a little bit off of that corner. Really tight. I think this is going to allow Matt Watkins to win here.
Yeah, the 9 car just slid up just a little bit.
Oh, 47 pounds to the wall.
We're going to have a close finish for third. It looks like 18's going to get up, but Matt Watkins is going to kiss the bricks here at Indianapolis. Terrific job by that pit crew, pulling a phenomenal strategy that allowed him to get the lead with a very timely yellow. And the 15 is going to go to victory lane here. Matt Watkins wins at Indianapolis. Great race, Joe, and an exciting finish.
Yeah, that was a crazy finish. We gave these fans 10 bonus laps here at Indianapolis. We're going to take you through. Tommy, why don't you take them through their finishing order?
Absolutely here, Joe. Well, as you see, the drivers all spread out on the backstretch. A fantastic finish. A lot of clean racing, too. Nobody was getting turned and punted at the end of that race, for sure. Well, the 15 of Matt Watkins, although he didn't start the race up front, he sure finished it there. The 15 bringing home his first win of the segment with Randall Coleman in second place, Robert Balcom in third. Andrew Miller, after starting on the pole, falls back to fourth, with Jessica Shelton picking up the top 5. Tyler Stallhood in sixth place, his best finish back since returning. Cody Luke and Bill Murnhan in the top 10 spots, good for them, in 7th and 8th respectively. Brian Wolf in 9th, and Darren Ingram, John Peterson, and Jeff Dixon ran out the field after getting involved in some incident earlier in the event. Well, Joe, a 15 car wins again here in the Dash Series. Has been very impressive. Could he have another championship in store for him this season?
Well, he definitely has another chance at this Segment 3 championship. A great points day today, a good points day last week, and he does that every single week here in the Dash Series. And winning in Indianapolis, that's got to be a big boost of momentum going into, I believe, next week's race, which will be at the Michigan International Speedway.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one, Joe. We've seen great finishes there before. Remember last time the Dash Series went there on JTN? Boy, we had a thriller of a finish with, I believe, Corbin Huffman winning that race. So we should have a great finish there as well, and a great race there. It's going to be really exciting for sure.
And it will be really exciting. If you've enjoyed this race, make sure you hit the like button. Go over to our Facebook page, give us a like over there. Hit subscribe. We're on the road to 200 here on the JoeTowNetwork, getting 200 subscribers. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell anyone that you think will watch here on JTN these races. If you want to participate, that link's also down in the description to join the Fast Racing League. Tommy, we had a great race tonight. So thankful you could join me here. But wow, we had a great finish.
We sure did, and you didn't know that looking at the start of this race. A lot of cars just spread out in single file, but by the end, Joe, things got really, really dicey for some of these guys, and really impressive for that 15 to hang on, even after making a mistake that caused the 9 car to get the lead just for a short amount of time.
Yeah, and all these drivers did a great job. A lot of awesome, clean racing. If you want to join that, like I said, links in the description to do so. For all of us here at JTN, thank you so much for joining tonight's broadcast here at Indianapolis. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to push that down your throat some more. Like, subscribe, give us likes on Facebook. Do whatever you want, do whatever you can. Any little bit helps us here, gives all the support. We see it, we love it, and it means the absolute world to us. I cannot say that enough. For Tommy Bordeaux and myself, Joe Twansky, thank you so much for watching, and we can't wait to see you Saturday night for the United States Online Racing League's race at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. For JTN, I'm Joe Twansky. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time here, right here, live.